Hello once again. So Ramadan is considered the holiest month in the Islamic calendar. Muslims are expected to abstain from food, drinks and worldly engagements and desires while observing their fasts. But is that all that Ramadan is about? Well, definitely not. It's also about, solidarity with the poor and feeling the pain of those who can't afford some of the basic human needs. And of course, this as we celebrate Human Rights Month. So the South African National Zakah Fund on the Cape Flats is preparing to ensure that thousands of needy families have meals to celebrate Eid. They have been receiving truckloads of goods that are being packed into hampers and distributed to the needy families ahead of Eid. All right, Vanessa Puna is live to us now. And Vanessa, it's really great, every time we get to look at some of these positive stories of people that continue to, give to those who are in desperate need. And I mean, what a better time to do that, I guess, than now. I guess it's something that should happen every day. But great as, we look at this particular moment.
Griselda, yes, good morning to you. And indeed, you've mentioned there about Ramadan. Of course, we've now entered into the final 10 days of Ramadan. And what happens each year around this time is that the South African National Zakah Fund comes together, donations pouring from across the Western Cape and Cape Town. And what happens is at their distribution centres, we see this kind of thing taking place. Let me just step out of shot for just a second. Behind me at the mosque in Bridgetown in Athlone, what we are seeing is volunteers coming together, packing these food parcels, and we understand that this year some 50,000 food hampers will be distributed to the needy, as well as those who can maybe not afford to celebrate an Eid meal. Of course, Eid al-Fitr is celebrated at the end of the month-long fast of Ramadan. But I'm joined now by the Western Cape manager for the National Zakah Fund here in Bridgetown in Athlone, Shafiq Barden, sir. Shafiq, good day to you. Of course, you can just join me over here. We've spoken just now about the significance of the month of Ramadan. We know it's a month of fasting. We know it's a month of giving. It's a month of forgiving. It's a month of humanity. So before we go into the packing of the parcels today, just a recap on what Muslims focus on during this holy month of Ramadan.
So alhamdulillah, the month of Ramadan is a month of spirituality. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made this month available for us to get with God consciousness back into our lives, and especially to look at those who are poor, because some of us has been blessed and been fortunate to try and be blessed with certain things, and we get the opportunity now to service and to see that we can see to the poor and the needy. So alhamdulillah, the month of Ramadan, even though 30 days, you get to realize, feel the hunger pains. You get to a situation where you can feel and see what other people go through on a daily basis. So we are very proud as an organization to be proud of that legacy, which has been celebrated for more than 1,500 years already of the month of Ramadan of celebration. So importantly, what you can see behind me happening is the packing of these parcels. And we're so excited that volunteers from all around the Western Cape came along to pack early this morning, because what happens is we want to make sure that everybody has something on the day of Eid, which we mentioned earlier, to celebrate the day of Eid.
So let us talk about Operation Fitra, and let's talk about what exactly we see taking place here. I see there's one of your trucks standing outside. So what will happen as packing commences? It's going ahead, and of course, once these food hampers have been packed, where to from there?
So what happens is behind us we have a bulk greens that came from. So what happens is the volunteers pack these hampers, and then it goes into our truck. And there are some areas who are under-resourced, who don't have a truck, they don't have transport. What we're humbly trying with the limited resources we have, SABC also trying to pack the parcels for them, put it into our truck, and deliver. So what happens is they will make sure that the people get the necessary parcels just a day or two before Eid, so they can have something to cook on the day of Eid.
Also, it is being distributed to various mosques, but of course not limited to observing Muslims, or is that the case with regards to these food hampers?
Yeah, specifically with regards to these hampers, the Fitra hampers, specifically for Muslims. But what happens as a sense of an institution throughout the year, 365, we when it comes to disasters, comes to other things that we need to do, our feeding schemes, we have about 27 feeding schemes that concentrate in the Western Cape specifically all over, where there are meals cooked. Specifically when it comes to school children, when they come from school in the afternoon, we make sure that they get help with tuition, with the schoolwork, and to make sure that they have a meal at the end of the day.
Thank you so much for speaking to me. Of course, there's Shafiq Bardenser from the South African National Zakah Fund, just, of course, talking to us about the packing of food hampers here in Bridgetown in Athlone. Month of Ramadan, as Muslims enter the last 10 days of this holy month.
Vanessa, thank you very much indeed. We'll cross to you perhaps a little bit later on or in other parts here on the SABC News channel.